I know this was talked about on Locked on Browns podcast. Crucial factors you think could propel Browns into being, and we'll say it, a surprise playoff team.
Yeah, I think if the defensive line obviously dominates the way that it did in the second half, especially against the Bengals, then they're going to be able to stay in any of these games throughout the season. Like I wholeheartedly believe that. I've said all offseason I thought they were going to be more competitive this year just in general as a team, and I think that bared itself out in week one. The thing that's discouraging is, you played well enough to win that game. You played maybe some of your best football that this team might be able to play just in general, and you still ended up losing, which is a tough blow. But like even this weekend with the Ravens, like it's a division game. I know the spread's 11.5, but if this defensive line dominates the way that I think it can, then there's no reason to believe that they can't stay in a lot of games and keep it maybe one score and give yourself a shot late to win it. And I think that's kind of the goal for this season, just in general. And that could set you up to maybe win more games than people would expect. I also think the offense just has to be, competent, average, not try to do too much at times. I think you kind of saw that in week one as well. But take what the defense gives you. Those methodical drives, I think, are sort of going to be a game plan all year where it's like, hey, if we can go up and down the field and milk the clock and keep the ball out of the opponent's hands, that's how we're going to win a lot of football games this year, or try to win a lot of football games this year. And so I think like Flacco just has to be Joe Flacco, take care of the football, obviously, is always going to be a cliche, but it's so true. And if the defense can finally get some turnovers, there's no reason to believe that this team can't, be in the mix throughout the season. And then it's just going to come down to, and this is probably the reason why most people don't think the Browns are going to win a lot of games this year. Like when you're in close games, which I do think the Browns have the capability of keeping a lot of games close. Do you have like the right people and the talent and the experience to win those games when it's down to the wire and all that? And that's, I think, the big thing that's missing. You're going up against a lot of good quarterbacks this year. Lamar Jackson's coming up just this weekend. Like, do you have the right people and parts to finish the job in crunch time? I think that's going to probably be the problem they run into, is they might not just have enough. But if they can keep it interesting, you give yourself a shot, and then who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you get to November, early December, and they're still in the hunt graphic and have a chance to do something. I also think too, like as tough as this early portion of the schedule is, there are a lot of winnable games once you get out of this first six. The Patriots obviously put up a dud game in week one. They're not expected to be a very good team this year. The Dolphins, I think, are a sinking ship. I've been sort of talking about that all offseason. The Titans are on the schedule. The Bears still, I think, have some flaws, even though I love Ben Johnson as an offensive play caller. And there's some other teams on there as well. So, there's going to be some opportunities to win. It didn't go their way this past week, but I think they'll be competitive and give themselves a shot. And if they can win those 50-50 games, or win some of those 50-50 games, maybe they play themselves into a playoff conversation.